Welcome back to Perspectives, the Honorized News. Beauty pageants have long been a staple in many cultures, often seen as a celebration of beauty and talent. There was a time when pageants held in our nation, they held our nation spellbound and brought Nigerians together as a people, with each state hoping their contestants would win the coveted crown. Till date, contests are still being held and queens are still being crowned. The most recent being Miss Universe Nigeria, in which Chima Additional won the title. She will represent Nigeria at the Miss Universe pageant this November in Mexico City. Then there's Paula Ezendu, Miss Supernatural, who would also represent Nigeria at Miss Supranatural in Poland in June of 2025. But over the years, there has been a paradigm shift. Today, some would argue that beauty queens have lost the appeal they once had in terms of popularity, relevance, or impact. They have been replaced with Nollywood stars, reality show personalities, and social media influencers. One cannot but wonder whether this shift comes from the belief that such competitions enlarges the already existing discrimination between men and women. But some stakeholders are here today to give us a much clearer picture on this issue. We're heading for a short break, but stay with us because next up will be our wonderful guests, media and entertainment mogul, Guy More-Bruce, beauty queen, Paula Ezendu, and renowned academic researcher, also and social impact strategist, Dr. Ikeora. Perspectives will return in just a moment. Welcome back to Perspectives, the Honorized News. Before getting into the conversation, let's get to meet our distinguished guests. Starting with Guy More-Bruce, a veteran in the media and entertainment industry and the National Director of Nigeria for Miss World and Miss Universe pageants. As president, Guy oversees the local and international operations of the Silver Group of companies. He has been nurturing and managing Silverver's front door signature brand event, Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria Beauty Pageants, which produced Africa's first world winner, Agbani Derogo, in 2001, and also won the group the timeless privilege of hosting the Miss World pageant in Nigeria in 2002. We're also being joined by Paula Ezendu, who represented Anambra State as Miss Anambra in the recently concluded Miss Universe Pageantry 2024, where she emerged as the first runner-up. Paula was crowned Miss Supernatural Nigeria in the contest. She also made it to the top 5 finalists in last year's Miss Universe contest. Bringing up the rear, but certainly not the least, is Dr. Ikeora, a renowned academic researcher, also social impact strategist, and former beauty queen. As the first runner-up in the Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria 2003 pageant, May went on to win the coveted Miss ECOWAS title in Cape Verde, representing Nigeria. She earned her PhD in law from University of Hull in the United Kingdom and has been recognized with numerous awards for her pioneering work. Dr. Ikeora has led impactful programs that have empowered thousands of women and girls in grassroots communities across Africa. So, good morning, everyone, and it's a great delight for me to have you as my guest on Perspectives today. So, let's start with you, Guy. You know, I'm sure you know the first question I'm going to ask you is this win. Because, I mean, there are some of us that cannot... Good morning to you, and good morning to you, Paula, as well. But let me admit, when I first heard that she was being brought into the competition, I thought it just came across as a PR move. Because I was like, why don't you let her wait till next year and compete with everybody that has a fair chance to win like she? I think her popularity, I'm assuming that her popularity would have worked for her. But this same popularity might have worked against her. Otherwise, comments like this will not arise. So please explain to me why you brought her in that late in the hour.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me onto your great show. And Chima Additional was, as you know, and most people know, she was in Miss South Africa.
Yes, we know the whole story.
Well, those that don't know, she was in Miss South Africa pageant, and there was a petition to pull her out because she had a last name that was not South African, and they could not see a winner from South Africa having a Nigerian name. So that led further into the identity of both parents, whether the father was from Nigeria or the mother was from Mozambique or South Africa, et cetera, et cetera. But there was so much pressure, and she had to pull out. By pulling out, she was deprived the opportunity to participate in Miss South Africa. So the moment I heard about, I'd been following the story for like a month. The moment I found out about it, this was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, that she had pulled out, I now reached out to the national director of South Africa for Miss Universe. I said, would she be willing to participate in the Miss Universe Nigeria pageants in Nigeria? She said, the first thing she said was, oh, she's South African. I said, well, he has a Nigerian father, right? So I'm sure pretty much he has dual citizenship. So that's when I probed further, and I reached out to her on Instagram and all that. And then, but before then, I made a press release saying, you're welcome to come to Nigeria, because at the time, I just felt sorry for this 23-year-old kid who has been deprived an opportunity to have a spot in the Miss South Africa pageant. And she was down and out, and we just reached out to her with an olive branch to say, come to us if you qualify, which we went through the rigorous process. She called me to say, yes, she's willing to accept it. And she asked me the same question. We already have 24 delegates ready to go for the show. I said, the girls themselves already want you. So why don't you just go through the whole process, screening process virtually, and see if you fit the profile? Because you have to prove you're a citizen of Nigeria. You have to prove that you're over the age of 18, et cetera, et cetera. And she did all that virtually. And that's why we brought her in. Okay,
let's get to you, Paula. You came second and also emerged runner-up, and I think you're the Miss Supernatural. First, explain, please, what does supernatural mean? What does it sneak into? I know about Miss Personality, Miss whatever, but what does that?
So Super is a fairly new pageant in the scene, but it's humongous. It brings over 80 countries together, 80 representatives from different countries together. And essentially it's a pageant that allows us to transcend borders. We come together in Poland and we share our culture. And it's, I believe, almost a month of just getting to know one another and I guess involving ourselves in each other's culture.
Okay, but what lesson did you learn from Chima's being? Because she was like a rejected stone that now became a cornerstone.
Yes.
And she went through, like what he explained, the upheaval and what have you. So what has that taught you? What message has that given you as a person, as a contestant?
Okay, so Chi-Chi's story is one that's aspirational and inspirational. She was scrutinized like terribly by the public, and her story is one of resilience, and that's something that resonates with me as well. And it just teaches me to never give up. This is my second time competing for Miss Universe Nigeria, and I'm just amazed that I was even blessed with this crown. And so it just goes to show that in the face of adversity, you have to stand in your light and continue to pursue your dreams.
Okay. Now, when Chidinma represented Taraba State, was there a contestant already with that title?
No, what we do in Miss Universe Nigeria, we assign states to delegates.
Okay.
Because traditionally, we have a lot of delegates from the eastern part of the country. And there's no way 5 people can represent a number.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to actually come from the state that you're representing?
No, you don't have to. You don't.
Oh, okay.
It just unifies the country. And we're just saying, look, it doesn't matter where you're from, you're a Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
So we assign
that
them
makes
states.
sense.
So someone with a Yoruba name could be from Ebonyi State.
I've always wondered, because, I mean, in the yesteryears, we used to assume that if you were from Bendel or Edo State or Enugu State, it meant that was where you came from. True. I didn't know that, I mean, which makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because if you have 10 people coming from one state and only 2 coming from...
yes.
It makes sense,
yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And that's how we've done it traditionally in the past.
Okay, it makes sense, actually. So can we have May in the house? Hello, beautiful. Can you hear me?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I can.
You were once a Miss,
morning.
you were once a beauty queen. How many years ago was that? Because the way you're looking, it doesn't look as if you got that title more than 5 years ago. Huh? It's so good to see you.
21 years, 21 years.
You're aging very well. That's inspiration for you, Paula.
You too.
Okay, let me ask you. I'm sure most of the ladies competing in beauty pageants are smart, bright, and intelligent, like you are. But sadly, over the years, contestants have received the negative image of being judged for their looks and not what they have to offer. How do you think this unfair narrative can be changed?
I mean, you're absolutely right. Some of these contestants are very, very intelligent, but there isn't enough equal emphasis on intelligence and skills that they bring on board when during the competition and even during their reign. And so to change that narrative, one of the things we have to do is to ensure that there is a lot more emphasis on their intelligence and the skills that they offer, because they do have a lot to offer. And I think this rests on the responsibilities of the organizers, the media themselves, and other key stakeholders like the sponsors and the government. I would really say that, there isn't enough time sometimes to be able to showcase those elements, because intelligence is not just about common sense, it's beyond that. So I think that during the reign of the Queen is a good time for the organizers to begin to showcase that. And the pageant really helped me personally. People call me Dr. May today, but if you track my record, you'd see that I started from MBGN and won Miss ECOWAS, which led me to become a Goodwill Ambassador to ECOWAS and exposed me to what I really wanted to be in the future. And today, I'm actually a living experience and a testimony to that. But we need to really, really show people that actually there are a lot of beauty queens that are intelligent. And even on a normal grounds, even beautiful women tend to be misunderstood as bimbos. So sometimes these beautiful women have a lot more to prove than others. So I think the organizers can do more to emphasize more on that level of intelligence, form the criteria set to get the participants, and also during the reign of the Queen. That emphasis is really important just to change the narrative.
Yes. Okay, that's good. So let's get back. Speaking of preparation, Paula, can you tell us what your experience was like in the camp? What kind of things were you made to do, and what kind of things are you now doing that you just learned whilst you were in the camp?
So camp was nothing short of amazing. Just being around like-minded women that care about society and are actually doing the work is amazing. And it just influences you and empowers you to want to do more. It's almost a little competition, like who's done the most for society. And honestly, I love them. They're very down-to-earth women. It's taught me to just, again, be authentic. There's no one that's just like you. And as women, we've been here. Like Chi says in one of her quotes, women, we're leaders of the past, we are leading now, and we're also leaders of tomorrow. And so women have always been prevalent, and being in that pageant space just allows us to amplify our voices, to showcase things that really matter in society.
Yeah, but did they teach you other things that you had to learn? Courage, poise, speech making and stuff like that?
Yes. I have a team that have been working with me since last year's camp. They do have those things within camp. I think one of our sponsors, chaperones, teaches us, and our producers as well. But they really just push for you to be yourself authentically and be classy. So
now that I still want to go on about this brain issue or intellect issue. Are there tests, Guy, that you put in place, for instance, to make sure that the contestants that come out to speak are intellectually equipped to contest?
Yes, first of all, there's a screening process to select these delegates. And first of all, they must have the intelligence, number one, and they must have a drive within themselves. And also want to showcase themselves as women who want to contribute to the society or have a project in mind. That's the only way we select them to be a delegate, to be one of the contestants for the show. So when they do emerge, top 5, generally they're super smart. Paula, for example, I mean, she's an advocate for all kinds of things. And I can't stop hounding the fact that we got to serve the community, you got to impact women, you got to influence them in a positive way, not the negative way.
But how long are they in the camp for, normally?
Camp is less than 2 weeks.
Okay, less than 2 weeks. But what has caused the dwindling interest in beauty pageants?
Just like everything, well, I wouldn't say we've lost interest in beauty pageants. I would say there's been a wide landscape of events take place in the world today.
Okay, you don't think feminism and women empowerment play any role in it?
Well, that's the old school. The truth of the matter is we empower women today in our pageants. We empower them, we make them serve the community, we make sure they influence young people to use this platform as a way to enhance their opportunities in life. So, but at the same time, everything else has been narrowed down to the micro. because there are many, many. In those days, think about it. Let me use one analogy. In Nigeria, we had only NTA. We were focused on what you watch on NTA. That was it. But today, there's social media, there's DSTV, there's all kinds of platforms now to watch all kinds of programs and events and all kinds of things. So definitely, everything has to be narrowed down, not in a wider scope anymore. So you have people who are interested in pageants, people interested in music, people interested in art and culture,
there's a lot more variety.
There's a whole lot more to go through now.
It
certainly does.
Attention
but you got to
space.
make your brand strong.
Okay.
And that's what we try to do.
Now, I want to ask you, Paula, and I don't want to keep reiterating this, but the truth of the matter is, we've had, I don't know how many beauty queens Nigeria's had over the years, but once they leave, they just fade into oblivion. I can't really recall any beauty queen that I will say that whatever legacy she left still lived long after her exit. Even, I don't know whether it's because it's a yearly thing, that as soon as one leaves, another one now comes in. But how do you intend to make your own tenure more impactful so that when people remember you, they remember you for something?
Okay, so I do have a W Force initiative, and it's empowering women to promote healthcare, and health is wealth, and that's my motto, is that it takes a healthy woman to empower women. And so with my W Force initiative, what we do is we give sanitary pads and teach teenagers about menstruation. For pregnant women, we enroll them in antenatal classes. And for our elderly ladies, we supply them with supplements or care providers. And this is work that I've been doing in the States, and I'm just so excited to bring it to Nigeria.
Okay. Is it work that you're going to continue doing
Yes,
even after your
ma'am.
tenure?
Yes.
Okay. Let's have May back, please. May, one is aware that at times...
Yeah.
Welcome back. One is aware that at times anything that enters Nigeria is bastardized and abused. Beauty, pageantry, inclusive. With over 10 different titles today under Nigeria. What can be done in terms of vetting for quality control and standards when it comes to this industry?
I mean, definitely, you're right. And it's beyond, I think I started writing the book about pageantry because I've seen it from both different sides, as an organizer, a contestant myself, and also a sponsor. And I've come to see that, there's just so many pageants out there beyond that 10 that you mentioned. I think I can count like up to 30 of them.
30?
Basically mimicking either MBGN. Yeah. Either mimicking MBGN or mimicking Miss Nigeria, one way or the other. And, that's just so watered down the great pageant, what other bigger pageants have been doing. And you attend an event and you see all kinds of queens, and you find even MBGN or Miss Nigeria not wanting to sit out there because they feel like, we're not special anymore. But they are indeed special, and we have a role to play to make them special. First of all, we need to make sure that when it comes to vetting, that the right institutions provide regulations, provide opportunities to regulate these pageants and make sure that they are not a pimping ground for girls. I mean, I've had pageant girls from other pageants say that they are being made to be sales girls or being pimped to men. I mean, this is an elephant in the room sometimes most of us don't want to talk about, but the truth that it happens. And then that rubs off on other pageants that are doing a great job. So I think that, government institutions like the Women's Affairs Ministry and other regulatory bodies have a role to play to make sure that they are vetting these pageants. I mean, I went on to CAC, and you'd be surprised to see the names of the pageant you see registered there. And I know that we have an association of pageants and beauty parades out there. I don't know what they do, but I know that I haven't had any interactions, and I don't know how many queens have had interactions with them. I think that we need to really look deeper into this so that we restore the reputation that these pageants once had. I mean, there are great women that have been produced from these pageants. Guy would attest to this. Some of them are politicians today, and some of them don't want to put that pageantry in their CV because of what it stands for today. So that regulation is not just for the past queens, it's for the future girls, making sure that they are not abused and at every given point they are safeguarded.
That's a very good answer that you just gave. Because, I mean, Ben, Oh, God,
It's okay, Ruth, I forgive you. Ben, Guy, Ben.
Maybe you might want to also elaborate on that, because really one does hear about these lecherous benefactors. So how do you make sure that your girls are protected and, you know, prevented from encountering such things, especially when it comes to sponsorship for one venture or the other that they want to do?
Well, one thing we've had in the last 38 years is the fact that we have credibility and transparency. And we've sent delegates to Miss World and Miss Universe. And believe me, Miss Universe and Miss World...
So none of your delegates have ever gone through harassment of any sort?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, that's good.
Not that I'm aware of. If there is something, someone should let me know. But we have a clean record now, 38 years. That's the problem. You have a great organization like Silver Red that organizes pageants and send delegates to Miss World to represent Nigeria on the world platform and at Miss Universe. Believe me, I'm in contact with Miss World organization and Miss Universe organization, and there's something they go by. They go by this code of ethics you must abide by. If I go against it or we go against it, I stand a chance to lose my franchise. Okay. So therefore, they see us every day on social media. They know what's going on. So there's no way we would escape that. I feel bad because there are other pageants out there who give us the wrong, bad image.
Yeah, bad image.
Because they don't have any transparency. But certainly we do, and that's why we've survived for so long.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, let me ask you, talking about social media. You know, social media, with the era of super influencers who negatively or positively draw millions of followers to their page, how does a beauty queen who has to portray exemplary qualities and also the essence of Nigerian culture, how do you begin to compete with them when it comes to attention and space?
Again, I'm gonna push being authentic. It really doesn't take, it's not brain science that you should always push to be yourself, and it's just easier to do that. And class never goes out of style, and I think as pageant queens, we embody that. And again, just standing in your light and allowing yourself to shine in a way that's amazing. It really amplifies your voice. And I feel social media, you should be a digital queen, and that was actually our theme this year for Miss Universe Nigeria 2024, was Digital Divas, and it was using a platform like social media to advocate and push and connect with more people. And I think it's amazing that that's a tool that we can use to amplify our voices and connect. I was raised on the quote that no man is an island, that it takes a village, and I think the internet allows that to be our own little village.
You know, in fact, speaking about, how did the votes? How were the votes garnered? Was it through public voting or was it the judges? Or a mixture of both?
The vote from Telco was public voting.
Okay, so
and that was strictly to fast-track 3 delegates to the top 10 position.
Oh, that's interesting.
The rest of it was done by 7 members of the panel of judges who then voted based on the criteria provided to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had it in camp and also at the final show.
Okay. I want to have May back, please, because another thing I want to dwell on, May, is that as an ex-beauty queen yourself, from experience, what does the title usually do to the psyche of the winners, if not properly managed? And how can their state of mind and well-being be managed under the pressure that comes with the status? Because we know about all the glam, we know about all the looking beautiful and waving your hands to the audience like, the queen that you are.
But you're a queen.
But the truth is, sometimes some of these contestants are overwhelmed by the sudden change of their status. So how best can they manage their reign that comes with the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it does affect our psyche, both positively and negatively. I always say that, most of the time, you just imagine an 18-year-old girl who's just trying to figure out what she really is, and then you're in a competition where people are basically comparing you. For some people, it does affect the self-esteem, body image. Like I would say for myself, I never paid attention to how I looked until I participated in a pageant, and I started to wonder if I was fat or thin or all of that. But I mean, I don't think about that these days. But just thinking about the girls who compete today, it definitely does change them a bit. And then, but also on the other side, there is also the fact that it helps them, it makes them grow faster. That's good and bad. Good in the sense that definitely the platform gives you the opportunity to grow. I would say for myself, when I was Miss ECOWAS, I went for field missions in Liberia, Guinea-Bissau, and the rest of them, and it did open my eyes to the sort of career that I wanted to pursue, which I'm currently enjoying today. And so I kind of really pushed really fast. For instance, I got my PhD at 30. I'd done my master's at 23. I wouldn't have thought about all that if I didn't have the opportunity to grow that fast in a positive light. But on a negative side, sometimes I think that beauty queens need to remain, act their age. I remember, like, I heard the Miss Supernatural talking about her pet project. That's all beautiful. But the truth is, there is nothing as beautiful as the experience you get working under people. I always advise that organizers should have the foundation that would be sustainable, that not just one queen comes and starts a pet project and it goes, but they continue. There's a lot to learn from Silverbird, for instance. Not just being a queen and deciding on a pet project, but you've never done a 9-to-5 in your life. So there's a lot for the queens to learn along the way, and that's how you guide them. Because, I believe that once, they're working with it, they allow the pageant, they pass through the pageant and not allow the pageant pass through them. They learn a lot, they learn life skills that helps them in the future. But also their family needs to be really supportive. The media needs to be really supportive. The organizers, they're closer to the queens too, so they have to be supportive. So it's just really to create a more sustainable environment that is constantly shielding them, understanding them, actually also making sure that they have people to talk to, because it does a lot to the psyche. The pressure is too much, especially in this day and age of social media. Yes, and there are so many pressures that young people encounter today. How much more a beauty queen? Just imagine a girl that won today, let's say she never had 1 million naira in her life, and all of a sudden she wins and everybody thinks she's a billionaire. She doesn't even have the money to service the status that she's just been given. That pressure is something else, needs to be dealt with. But then I would advise every queen, be yourself, your authentic self. You don't have to have everything. At this point, it's not your peak. I'm 41 years old and I am still growing. I haven't gotten anywhere yet, and I still have a long way to go. So 20, you're still starting.
That's good. That's good. Free advice given to you right there, Paula. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 26.
Okay, you're 26.
Yes.
You're 26.
By the way, Ruth, I'm so proud of May.
Yes.
It just shows that she used the platform to the right
Yes,
way.
to her advantage.
Remain those, we talk about it a lot, and super proud of her. It's been 21 years now.
It's been 21 years.
I remember when she came to the pageant the first time in 2003. She told me her whole story. I won't say all that here, but the truth is she's come a long way, and I'm super proud of her.
But why don't we have more Mays?
Pardon me?
Why don't we have more women like me from the beauty pageant industry?
Well, we do. We have ex-beauty queens, Bianca Ojukwu. We have Linda Ekpezu.
Yeah, but I'm saying that those are beauty queens of the yesteryears. Yeah. I'm talking about the beauty queens of the last 10 years or last 5 years. Do you understand? Because, yes, you mentioned Bianca Ojukwu.
But it's still growing.
It's still growing, but what I'm saying is that
they're still developing
people
themselves.
still remember the Bianca Ojukwus.
There's
and the
Agbani.
Who did you call again? Bianca Ojukwu and
Bianca Ojukwu, Linda Ekpezu.
Yes, Linda Ekpezu went on to become a politician.
Yes, she did.
Exactly.
There's
but I'm wondering, in the last 10 years, I can't really think of any beauty queen that I know of that her name still rings a bell even till date.
One thing, maybe you're not paying attention to that space, and two, they're probably building their careers. Okay,
that's good. That's good for them. Now, what I also want to know is that obviously, like May just said, these beauty queens are very young and what have you. How do you manage the PR machinery to ensure that they remain scandal-free?
By educating them and giving them the values that we tell them every time. There's only so much you can do. Once they leave after the tenure and they leave, we just hope the values we instill in them remain in them. There's nothing you can do outside the 1 year, but you can only encourage them.
Okay, but does Silverbird have like she said, does Silverbird have like an NGO of sorts, whereby every beauty queen that sets up a program, you can, when they leave, you can still continue to support them to ensuring that product that they set up still continues even after their reign?
We don't have an NGO on our own, but they have their own NGOs where we support them all the time whenever they need our support. But like I said, it's always, it's like, you know, every year we change queens and all that. I'm not trying to give ourselves credit or anything, but we're trying to support them as best we can. But every year we have to worry about the new set of queens coming out. So we thin out after a while. We just pray that the winners themselves take it further past that. And if we can always support them, we support them.
Yes, because staying power is very important. Okay, someone like you, Paula, do you have a full-time job aside from what you do?
Yes, I do. I believe in being a well-rounded individual. I think, like Dr. May was saying, it really teaches you and pushes you in life, especially as a young woman. You don't want to lax too much and think that, get caught up in the glitz and the glam of the crown. This crown is essentially just a platform that gives you, like, amplifies your voice to push for something that is near and dear to your heart. And it's amazing that so many women come with their different advocacies and really fight for change, for things that they care about, from breast cancer to women's health to domestic violence and abuse situations. So all these women have stories, and these stories are what have pushed them to light this torch and be this, I guess, bell ringer for
so in other words,
things.
you don't have a conventional job. You're a crusader for the cause
No, I
that you
do.
believe in.
Oh, I
okay,
do.
So what
Yes,
do you do?
yes. So I'm a procurement specialist for a childcare investment company out in the States. I've actually quit my job twice.
Okay, you live abroad?
Yeah,
You're
yes,
based abroad?
yes. I do live abroad, but I visit Nigeria so much I practically live here too.
So, but during your tenure, are you going to be based here
Yes,
primarily?
absolutely. I'm actually looking for apartments right now as we speak.
But, so aside from, what are the certain things that you used to do that you can't do anymore because you're not a beauty
Well,
queen?
obviously, I would have to go remote with my job. With the time difference as well would be something that would be a bit of a struggle, but honestly, it's what comes with the crown. It's just the duties and responsibilities that you choose to do and accept when you accept a crown and when you win. And I just feel like you want a well-rounded queen. You want someone that is able to have a 9-to-5 and really get her hands dirty and get to know life skills and developmental skills, but also someone that can communicate with the community and spread joy and just awareness for different kinds of things. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, can we have May back on there again? So May, in terms of tourism, how can the government be involved in the pageant industry? Because I know you said something about the Women Affairs Minister. Who are the stakeholders and what role should they play to add more prestige to it?
I mean, this pageant is really mostly about women. I mean, I know we have male pageants out there, but the female pageants are more prominent. So you would have the Ministry of Women's Affairs, you have the Tourism Ministry as well. But I don't think it's so much so just getting them involved, but it needs to be something secured. And it can be secured by the organizers, but the government must have an interest. The organizers can do so, just so much. And I can't even say they benefit more than empowering the women as much as they can, but I don't think that they'd even make profits from doing this. However, if the organizers and the government the governors can allow this for the organizers to secure a place for any queen, it doesn't matter whether it's Miss Supernatural or Miss Universe, but any girl that comes up that becomes Miss Universe has already a job within the tourism ministry secured by the organizers. And it continues that way. Then it becomes easier for these girls to get involved. And also it becomes something more sustainable. So it shouldn't be just a one-off and a short-term fix. It should be a long-term fix. After all, at the end of the day, these girls go outside of the country representing Nigeria. How much does the government support them, sponsor them when they go there? Some of these girls have to, with the organizers, run around, raise money to make sure that they get there. Does the Nigerian government even buy their ticket? It's a question. So whilst these girls are promoting Nigeria, it is also the responsibility of all of these ministries to contribute to that and to ensure that the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people are benefiting from these girls going out there to shine the torch in the light for Nigerians.
Okay, but how do you also think that these girls can draw more attention and attraction to the countries they represent globally? What more can you advise them to do?
They're already doing that.
Yes.
They're just going to those countries, they're already doing that. And they represent the country well. I've seen a lot of these queens, and it just also seems that it's when they go there, when they get to those international competitions, that our countries, our people really recognize that they exist. So certainly they are doing something. I don't think the girls can do more than that. I think that we need to support them. Remember, these are young women. We need to support them.
Oh, that's good to know. But let's get back to, we'll come back to you soon enough, May. Let's get back to Guy. She said something about the government and sponsorship. So in terms of expenses and what have you, is it a financially benefiting product for you, for your company as a whole?
Certainly not. Certainly not. I'll say it wholeheartedly. Over the past 38 years, never had federal government support. Because at the end of the day, when we send delegates to represent Nigeria at big international events, Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss Supranational, it's Nigeria that's been publicized. Nigeria's been celebrated. Nigeria's been hailed. And
but have you tried to approach
yes.
Like the Women Affairs Minister or any of the ministerial sectors that you think would mutually benefit if you had a JVC with them?
We tried in the past. It was a no-go. But it doesn't mean it won't happen. We hope they're watching and see the benefits to the country, because it's the PR machinery for Nigeria. Because these women become great ambassadors of Nigeria to the rest of the world. They're flying the flag. Imagine a Miss Universe without Nigeria. Imagine a Miss World without Nigeria.
I mean, imagine...
You would not exist.
We wouldn't have known of Abani Darego without...
Exactly.
The world wouldn't have known of Abani Darego without
the
Miss
Olympics
World.
without Nigerian team.
Yes.
We will not exist. We will not be one of the countries that exist on this earth.
But why do you think that the beauty pageants are at the bottom of the barrel in terms of interest?
It's not bottom of the barrel.
No. I'm saying with government.
Maybe there's not enough money to be made from it. But there are also potential opportunities.
But they must appreciate the PR mileage that comes with it.
They probably do, but also look at them missing out on the tourism part of it.
Exactly, tourism, yes.
The more you promote Nigeria, the more you create an interest from the rest of the world to say, what's in this beautiful country? What do they have there?
Yes.
And this is an opportunity to showcase our
yes,
culture.
Building bilateral relationships.
Yes, and also promoting a good site where people can visit and all that. And who benefits? The people, the hotels, the taxi drivers, the restaurants,
yes,
and so on and so forth. So if they don't see the benefits, I don't know what else to say.
It's sad that they don't see that, because this is one of the PR's strongest PR machineries that we can use.
The last Miss Universe that was held in El Salvador, the president came out to endorse it and actually promoted the country, El Salvador. And it was big for the country. It was known for crime, but that period, I tell you, there was no crime in El Salvador whatsoever. And they had great security. They had 120 delegates from around the world come for Miss Universe there. And it was well celebrated. This year is going to be in Mexico.
When do you think we'll get to Nigeria? You've had it before, though.
We had Miss World halfway, half of it. It was a Laval issue.
No, but when do you think that Nigeria too would host a Miss Universe contest?
Miss Universe can be hosted in any country.
I know, but when do you think Nigeria?
You must have the willpower from the government and also the guts to say, we want to do it, we want to promote tourism, we'll guarantee you security, we guarantee you hotels, we give you transportation, and we'll take it to the tourist sites.
Yeah, because when you think about Olympics, countries vie to be the host.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So I would assume that if we had a contest like that in Nigeria,
it would be huge.
It'd be huge.
Because years ago, it was owned by, Miss Universe was owned by Donald Trump up to like 2016, 15, thereabout, just before he ran for office as president. He had Miss Universe for 20-something years. And every year we'd see him. He was basically the PR man for Miss Universe.
Yes, yes.
And he made sure his Mar-a-Lago and everything else was promoted.
You can't hear anything.
Russia,
Yes.
Everywhere we went to, he was there promoting.
All in the machinery.
Yeah. So I don't see why Nigeria should not get involved in it. It's huge potentials for Nigeria. But, we're used to banking sector and agriculture sector. The beauty sector is part of entertainment, and it also goes along with it.
Which is why I wonder, because even the entertainment industry is big in Nigeria today.
It's big, but guess what? They're all going out. All the big acts are going out of the country. So the money is not generated here. It's been exported. Yes, we have big acts, but where are they? Where did they make the big bucks? Not here in Nigeria.
So we need to invest more in the entertainment industry, basically, is what you're saying.
Certainly. It's good tourism for us.
Okay, let me go back to May. May, I want to ask you that from your own personal experience and what you've seen and what you've gone through, do you think that one needs a special ambassador whose main focal point is to rebrand or strengthen the brand of the beauty industry? And if one needs a person like that, who would be ideal to suit that role? Can you hear me? Hello? I think we've lost me, so let's get back to you. So you see that question now that I just asked her?
Yeah.
Do you think an office or a platform has to be created specifically to strengthen the brand of the beauty industry and get more investors and make it a much more globally present?
I think for the Ministry of Tourism, that should suffice.
Yes.
All they have to do is have an arm that supports beauty pageants, just like they support music, that's what like they support arts.
Yeah, but who would be an ideal candidate for that particular
Who would be the ideal
role?
candidate?
Yes.
I don't know.
Will it be somebody that has been a beauty queen?
You've got to be someone who
before?
understands the business, first of all, and exposed, internationally exposed. You can't have someone who is in a can expecting to know what's outside the can. So you have to...
But you know, people are used to, our government is used to putting square plugs in round holes and vice versa. Because I was arguing the other day that for somebody who to be a minister of sports or to be, a strong stakeholder in sports, you need to have at least been a sportsman before in the past.
That way you understand and you have the passion.
So I'm wondering whether that same thing applies.
You need to have the passion
in this industry
for the entertainment field, first of all.
I think we're back. We're back with May. May, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes,
I can.
I was saying to Guy that I believe that I wasn't saying I wasn't saying I believe. I was asking a question that he complained about the beauty industry not being supported enough by the government. So I said to him that, does he think a body should be put in place where their sole purpose is to sell this brand to the government and also sell it globally? And that if such a platform was created, for instance, what kind of person do you think should run it? Should it be a former beauty queen? Or what kind of person do you think should head such a platform and reignite the fuel that needs for the beauty industry to grow, just like we have in the music industry? Can you hear us now?
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Yes, I can. I definitely agree with you on that because, a lot of work has been done over the years. I mean, take, for instance, Miss Nigeria is from 1957. That is a lot of heritage there to let go of. And then MBGN, 38 years. It is something that the government should take seriously. And I definitely think that a body should be set up to keep it going. And I think it would be really, really helpful for the organizers as well, as much as it's going to be helpful for the beauty queens, the future ones, and the past. And I feel like the person who should head this should have great experience. I don't necessarily think he has to be a beauty queen. If there's a beauty queen out there that has the experience to run that, absolutely. But it has to be someone that understands the mission and the vision for pageantry and promoting Nigeria. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, May. So what do you agree with her?
I certainly do, and also a way to curb out pageants who don't have values or are not transparent, and who give the pageants a bad name.
Yeah.
Those ones should be kept away.
But what steps should be put in place to maintain authenticity, to maintain quality control? So in other words, you can't just wake up and say you want to have a pageant called Miss Surulere girls' high school or whatever. Do you understand?
That's dropped again, no?
And so, so what kind of things, parameters should be put in place before you can be approved to actually run a pageant?
Well, first of all, you must have a love for it, number one. You must have a
Like
passion for
any
it.
occasion.
But
any
you must have
profession.
you must have rules and regulations for anything. Any industry must have rules and regulations. We certainly have our rules and regulations, and we emulate Miss Universe and Miss World for those rules and regulations. So we go with the highest standards possible. And if they don't meet those standards, I'm sorry to say, but
So what are your standards anyway for you to have that franchise? For you to have a Miss World and Miss Universe franchise,
you must be very transparent. For Miss Universe, for example, you must have delegates who are between the ages 18 and above, irrespective of marital status. Being a mother, could be widowed. So long you're a woman, you must have judges. Judges who have a lot to lose if something goes wrong. They must be credible. You must have a show at a venue with a minimum capacity of 1,000 people. It must be televised. It must fulfill, basically there's so many requirements you must fulfill. And without that, you cannot say you have a pageant.
How long did it take for you to be able to get that franchise when you first...
We've had it since 1986.
I know, but how long did it take for you to get the approval for it?
It didn't take, but probably like 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Because at the time, we were fortunate enough to have this, it was open.
Oh, okay.
It was like, before MTN came, MTN had an open space. They took MTN, right? So we had an open space. But today, it's very competitive. Countries want to get into Miss Universe. They want to get into Miss World. It's tough because they have too many pageants in their country vying for that franchise. And either Miss World or Miss Universe have to vet each organization thoroughly.
Okay, that's interesting.
But they vet us each year. They vet us each year.
How do they vet you?
They watch us. They watch what we go through. They watch us on social media. I have meetings with them on Zoom every 2 weeks. So it's a whole process.
Okay.
And it's a whole organization. With Miss Universe offices, they have offices in Los Angeles, Mexico, and in Thailand. And we meet all the time to discuss all the issues.
It's good that you say this, but I also want to ask. I remember in the yesteryears when we were much younger, top models used to be the ones that used to be on magazine covers and what have you. And now, as you know, as you said, with the advent of social media and whatever, what do they call them? Social media influencers, Nollywood actresses are the ones getting the maximum mileage. So, when you want to control the narrative of your beauty queen, what kind of content would you put on social media on a regular basis to make sure that they remain relevant in people's consciousness?
What we put out on social media for the girls is pretty much what they use to empower younger people. And of course, they do natural visits to sponsors. But it's all about empowerment, and it's in promoting our culture, and it's inciting young people to do the positive things. That's what we must put out.
So in other words, if I go to Paula's page now,
if you see her dancing in a nightclub, I would strike that out.
Okay, but that's another thing.
I'll take that out.
Because they are young women. So does that now mean they literally have to put their lives on hold?
No, it doesn't mean.
During the course of their reign?
No, it doesn't mean.
But can she go to a nightclub now?
She certainly can, but she has to be guarded.
All poised?
Yeah, she has to. If she doesn't, because she has a contract with us in Silverbird. If she doesn't, and she has to go by the rules and regulations.
Okay, well, what about...
if she gets drunk and gets nasty, which I doubt very much.
No,
Paula's not that kind of gal. Yeah,
But
she
also-
stands a chance of losing that crown.
Okay, let me ask you, Paula.
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you in a relationship now?
No. Oh, God, no.
I mean, how old are you? You're 26?
I'm 26, yeah.
So, you're not in a relationship?
No, not currently, no.
Okay, but if you were in a relationship,
Yeah.
would this reign have affected it?
As someone that wants to be a transformational leader, I want to lead by example. So anyone that would be for me, that's my partner, would most definitely have to be supportive. This is something that is helpful, and so to go against it would steer me in the wrong way. So I definitely look for a supportive partner, if anyone's...
Yeah. No, because I believe that, as May said earlier on, that these girls are very young when they get these crowns, and sometimes, like young women, you know, they might let their head down one time too many and what have you.
Yeah.
So how do you control? How do you do damage control
Well,
when
first
it
of
comes
all,
to your queens?
they're chaperoned most places they go to.
Yes.
Everywhere you go to, you have
Everywhere,
chaperone.
Yeah.
even the bathroom.
No. Well, the point is, I mean, there's only so much you can do. They also have parents, so the parents want to ensure that they're protected too. So that's another layer
That
of
chaperoning
security.
thing is very important, but I think, like May said earlier on, I think sometimes being in the constant presence, people constantly being in your space, must have is on and off days. Because I'm sure there are days you just want to be your normal self, throw the crown away, just go out, enjoy. Because even your friends, what now happens?
So my dynamic of friends are, again, so super supportive, and everyone's entitled to live their lives how they want to live it, but if it doesn't align with
Why do
my
I feel like
values...
these your answers are too safe?
I know.
No, but this is really me. It's really me. I don't really push the button too much unless it's for advocacy of my, health. But for most things, I'm pretty calm, cool, and collected.
Yo, once in a while, push the buttons after you're
like for example, we went out to see a client yesterday in Ikeora. And there were, how many of us? 5 of us?
Yes.
5 delegates, she and 4 others. And after that, the sponsor hosted us in a nice restaurant in Victoria Island. It was all camaraderie, sisterhood, and they were all well behaved and used the
they should be well behaved.
Well,
anyway.
the little things
naturally.
they learn from these pageants. I mean, a lot of them will use the cutlery right and all the little things as using the cutlery. You'll be amazed out there.
Are you serious?
What happens to some people?
Oh my
Not
goodness.
Paula. Paula is too refined.
Yes.
Oh, so sweet.
But a lot of people learn this things that you'll be amazed when
Etiquette and what have
etiquette.
you.
Yeah,
We
thank
have
you.
But
etiquette
don't you
class.
do that in your camp?
Yes,
in
we
the
do.
camp
They
whilst
do.
you're in the
They
camp?
do. They
I would
do.
have thought that you'd be doing that.
We have
whilst you're
tea
in the camp.
time, and we learn how to sit and stand like a lady, how to excuse ourselves.
wave.
Yes.
We don't go eating with a spoon, for example. No.
No, did you connect to some girls eating rice with spoon?
that's
No.
No, I'm just giving an example
Oh,
of
okay.
what's
Okay.
the do's and don'ts.
Okay. Let me get back to me so that we can round up because we're almost done. May, I'm sure you've heard what we've said. So if you had to give any parting shots to any potential beauty queens out there, what would you like to say to them? Oh, we can't hear
Whenever
you.
I see any girl that has a confidence, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Go on, you can speak.
So I always say that whenever I see any girl on stage that has that confidence to be on stage and speak, it tells me that that girl has a lot of potential. And so I don't undermine any girl that decided to join a pageant. But for girls who are trying to get into pageantry, I would say, understand who you want, what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Don't open your mind to what you can learn. And learning is not just for the organizers, but the people you meet along the way, the girls you meet. Some of us make connections for a lifetime during the pageantry. I had a great experience when I contested with MBGN and Miss ECOWAS, and it has stayed with me till today. Never forget who you are, because that's usually what happens. Girls tend to, when they win, they forget their roots. Never forget that. But it is a great platform. Just make sure you're on the right platform.
Thank you so much, May.
The best version of yourself.
Dr. May.
May is so special.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Thank you, Guy Murray Bruce. Thank you, Paula Ezendu, for being with us in Perspectives this morning. And I hope that Dr. May has taught you.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you've learned a few lessons from her as a veteran in the industry.
Thank
you,
you,
my
Ruth.
brother,
Thank you, Ruth.
for being with us this morning. Okay, so beauty pageants can serve as a useful tool to build confidence, develop professional skills and opportunities, and create a platform for women to advocate for important issues. They should have a significant economic impact that generates employment in various sectors such as fashion, media, hospitality, and tourism. Let us see the positives of these competitions and get inspired. But, pageant or no pageants, may we always try to uplift one another and put a smile on the faces of people around us. And as I keep saying, life is a learning curve. That's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here with me on Arise News. Until the same time next week, do stay safe and have a good time. Bye.